Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 199 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor. We don't have Damon at the moment. We'll have him later, hopefully. I traded Damon for Trevor. So, but yeah, 199, man. We're almost at 200.
Yeah. Wow.
A lot of episodes.
Yeah. We knew it was coming, but
yeah.
I guess it's not just like the episodes coming up quick, but like end of the year is coming up quick too.
It is,
right? Like Christmas and all that. Like I think for me, because I went on this trip, it like reality has kind of caught up with me in the last couple of days. That it's like, oh, I got to do like Christmas shopping and stuff like that.
Oh, I have done no Christmas shopping at all. If Damon were here, he'd be like shaking his head at us because he does it throughout the year. But I have done zero Christmas shopping.
I'm usually like Damon, that I'm a little bit like I'm usually pretty far ahead of it, but I'm behind the eight ball right now. So
yeah, I understand. Yeah. I am with you. It's been a challenge. It kind of stuck up on me this year, to be totally honest. Like you're saying, it's kind of like, oh, it's the end of the year already. How did we get there? We're only a month away from Christmas. Like, just it feels like just the other day we were doing the meetup. I mean, like it doesn't feel that long ago,
Yeah.
So that was a full on, 6 months ago. So
yeah, that was May. Wow.
Yeah.
Where did the year go?
Where did the time go? Yeah. But we should have Damon a little bit later. Unfortunately, he had something last minute come up, so we don't have him. But that's okay because the person we really want to talk to is Trevor.
Yeah,
that sounds bad. Because Trevor just got back. Well, got back about a week ago, but the timing didn't work out that we could do a trip report with Trevor. Right after he got back. So I'm excited to hear about your trip. I mean, you have told us very little about your trip, but at the same time, I know it was eventful just based on all the things that happened, like hurricanes and such.
Yeah. So I guess, maybe I'll start at the beginning, which is the best place to start. So traveling down there was it was interesting. We had a bit of a snowstorm in Calgary, which made me worried I was going to miss my flight. And then the airline we were flying with actually was having issues with their system the day that we left. So there was a huge backup at the airport. And
of course it was.
Yeah. So after everything else, I was concerned that we weren't going to make it down there in time, but we got through, all the lines and everything. We got on the plane, we got down there, and then, we had our first day in Florida, which, it was fantastic. Like it was really hot there. And then, we got in late on the Saturday. So the first day we actually started with was the Sunday. So, my first day back in Disney was in Magic Kingdom. And I'll start by talking about, I guess, my take on Genie Plus, because the very first day was, because we were in Magic Kingdom, I thought it made sense for us to, we bought Genie Plus because I was like, well, this is the time to try it. And Magic Kingdom has enough rides, I feel, to justify it, or enough rides that I guess I want to do to justify it.
I think Magic Kingdom, it's like worth it more than anywhere else, personally.
Yeah. So the thing that I found about Genie Plus, it's definitely not fast passes is the first thing. I initially was kind of approaching it the same way that I would fast passes, where I was like, I booked a bunch of stuff in the morning, or not, but like I booked one in the morning, like as early as I could. And we spent the morning hopping around a bunch. Like I actually ended up booking like 8 or 9 rides with Genie Plus. So, we did pretty good throughout the day. Like we actually got on everything we wanted to get on. Nice. The thing I don't like about Genie Plus was, the fact that it only lets you do each ride once, because
that kind of stinks.
Yeah, because we found, or, as the day progressed, like I got a lot of stuff done, and fully admitting it, the first day the theme of this trip was relearning how to do Disney, I guess, because
It's been so long.
yeah, for me and my family, it's been so long. We kind of forgot how to do Disney or how to do it without, killing yourself in the first day. So we went really hard the first day. Like we didn't really take any breaks. And so, yeah, because of that, we got on a lot of rides. Between Genie Plus and timing of different rides, like I'm sure anybody who was following on the group, like my wife was posting, like it's, there was a point where we found like a 15-minute wait time for Haunted Mansion and stuff like that. It worked out good, but we pushed ourselves way too hard the first day. So we almost did an open to close day, which yeah, in retrospect, that was for the very first day. And the fact that it was 30 degrees Celsius, which I guess is like 86 or something like that, which, to us was like really hot summer weather, even though I know for a lot of people who live in the area.
That's hot for me too. 86 is hot for me because when I was just down there, that's what it was most of the time. And that was hot. I was,
yeah. But for a lot of people that, even like we chatted with a couple of people along the way and they're like, oh yeah, we live here and, this is nice weather. And to us, it was like, this is really hot. Right. And so we weren't prepared for, getting dehydrated and exhausted and all that kind of stuff. So,
it's also got to be hard to come from like literal snow and then 6 hours later you're in, super hot weather.
Oh no, that part was great. I was.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was great to get away from it, but it's probably like a shock to the system,
Yeah, a little bit. So yeah, the first day was it was a great day. Like, don't get me wrong, we had a fantastic time, but we paid for it the second day because our original plan was to go to Epcot, and we had somebody in the family who was not feeling great. They had a stomach bug, so we ended up choosing to, because we pushed so hard the first day, we realized that we needed to actually stop, and so we took the second day to just have a bit of a break and reset, and then we went back on the third day to try again. Which on the third day, we actually ended up getting to Hollywood Studios a lot later than I planned, which ended up resulting in we didn't spend a lot of time there. I didn't do Rise of the Resistance or Mickey and Minnie's because So because by the time we got there was it
was hard, long lines probably, right?
Yeah, it was like, I could have looked at lightning lanes and stuff, but it was like, I'm not going to wait here till like 8:00 at night to do this, right? So we ended up making a decision that this trip, the park hoppers turned out to be very valuable this trip, because we made a decision to we left Hollywood Studios and we got on the Skyliner and we went over to Epcot, which that was our technically on the Monday we were supposed to be in Epcot, but the Tuesday ended up being our first day in Epcot. When we got there, it was. Epcot is still under construction. It's kind of, it hasn't changed much from when we were there in May.
Yeah, still a bit of a mess. Yeah,
yeah. As we were going there, I happened to luck out that again, talking about things that I learned. If you're looking at the individual lightning lanes, kind of like the old Fast Pass system, just because it says there's no availability, you want to keep refreshing it.
Yeah, it doesn't mean there won't be at some point. Yeah.
So what ended up happening was we were waiting in line for Living with the Land, and it was like 3:00 in the afternoon. And I was just looking at the app, and then I quickly saw a lightning lane for Guardians of the Galaxy pop up at like 7:00. And I was like, oh, wow. But so I tried to get it and I was too slow. But that was where I clued in. I was like, hey, I should really be looking at this a lot more closely than I have been.
Yeah.
So as we were getting on to Living with the Land, or like in the first part of it, where there's really nothing going on, I was just like refreshing it like crazy. And then I ended up actually getting a Guardians lightning lane for 5:00.
Oh wow, so it actually worked out better.
Yeah, exactly. So that ended up, that turned it from, we were kind of at that point, we were a little bit tired. We were kind of figuring out how to reset our pace and everything.
Yeah.
And as soon as I showed my son that we had a lightning lane, like both of us really like perked up and we're like, oh, like yeah, we got excited. And yeah, so we got that, and then in the meantime, so we did, or between that time or when I booked the lightning lane, when we actually went on it, we ended up doing some food and wine booths. So
nice.
this ended up, or like I said, the whole trip ended up being honestly very chaotic because, like I said, I wasn't as prepared for it as I thought and everything. The Tuesday ended up really being the only day that we actually did like food and wine stuff, but I did get a chance to try the banh mi from the Flavors of Fire booth. My wife and my son really liked the mac and cheese. We grabbed a fry flight, which we all ended up agreeing that the sweet potato fries with the cream ended up being the best fries in the fry flight. And I'm trying to think if there was something else there wasn't something else that we tried, but it obviously wasn't that memorable because I can't remember what it was now. So yeah, the overall, we ended up, we tried to, stop and eat at the booths and everything. The other thing that for the doing the eating around the world and all that, it, because of the fact that it started raining while we were there and, the hurricane was coming and everything, it kind of messed a lot of that up because obviously a lot of the places there's
covered areas to eat. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. The only place that there is actually, or that I found that was covered was the brewing booth, which is inside of the Odyssey. So there was actually there was seating inside of there, or not seating, but like there was tables inside of there you could stand at. So we ended up not eating, or we kind of gave up on doing that after a bit because, as much as it's like, oh yeah, you can go in the rain and it's not like, it's not a big deal. It's not cold or anything. And, we were fine with ponchos. Trying to eat food at a booth when it's raining, and yeah, it doesn't work very well.
That's a whole lot different. It's a whole lot different trying to eat food and wine plates in the rain than it is just trying to go on rides and stuff, right? Because you can wear a poncho and be fine, but if you just have an exposed plate of food and it's pouring rain, there's not a whole lot you can do with that, right?
You're racing to eat it over, having it get soaking wet. So like I said, unfortunately, the plan to eat a lot of food and wine stuff did, we still got a chance to sample some stuff and we enjoyed what we did. But overall, we found that we had to, shift gears and go back to, finding, quick services and stuff like that because, it wasn't working. So after all that, then we got to our first lightning lane, which were Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's a good way to say it.
Yeah. So we were, or I was excited because, I kind of knew what was coming. The pre-show was very cool. Like the way that they did up the room and how they get you into the ride. And again, I'm not going to spoil it for you because, you should ride this ride, Tom.
I've watched the video. I've watched the video of the pre-show. Yeah. So I know what happened.
Okay. So yeah. So but I went in blind and, me and my son, we were pleasantly caught off guard by it because of how they did the scene transitions and all that.
Sure. Yeah.
And so going into it was we were excited. The funny thing is after the pre-show, so what we found, we rode the ride a couple of times throughout the trip because it was that good.
Yeah.
But the first time when we got out of the pre-show, there's a hallway that you walk up to that gets you to where the actual ride vehicles are. And it was absolutely packed for some reason. I don't know what happened that particular day, but it was just completely backed up. And it took us 30 minutes just to get through there. And at the time I was thinking oh geez, this is how this ride is going to go. Right. It's just going to be a, sardine can for a little while. No, it was just that day. But, so we got up to the front, and keep in mind, my son likes we both like Guardians. My son had no idea what the ride was. I didn't tell him anything about it. I just said, we're going on Guardians. And then we got up and he was like, this is a roller coaster. And I was like, yeah, it is. And he was like, and he said to me, he's like, I was thinking it was like Flight of Passage. Like he was thinking it was a simulator ride. Right.
Okay.
So all of a sudden he went from like, excited to like, oh boy, like, yeah, this is crazy. Right. The last part that I didn't tell him was that the cars turned.
So this is like, I love that you kind of kept all this from him.
It was fantastic. So we got on it, and then it started going, and then you hit like the first turn before the launch, and then the car turns around, and we were in the back row, which turned us around to be or like we were technically in the front of the vehicle after everything turned.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, my son was like, "Oh boy, this is gonna be interesting." and then we launched backwards, which the first time I experienced that launch, it was very disorienting, sure. because the whole thing about the ride is that, we've talked about this a lot, that Damon and us, we've debated back and forth. It's the whole thing is, it's just a roller coaster, and it just, the cars turn. What's so great about that? Yeah. The thing about this ride is that it is greater than the sum of its parts.
Sure.
Meaning that, if you just had that roller coaster, it would be okay. It wouldn't be a great roller coaster. But the fact that they designed the roller coaster the way they did, where the cars turn in it's very specific. It's not that the cars are randomly turning around. They're doing it very intentionally, and you can see where they very much thought through how to play with the momentum. Like, hitting a turn sideways versus hitting a turn going forward feels very different. So my son definitely appreciated that. The first song that we got on it was "Everybody Wants to Rule the World" by Tears for Fears.
Always a great song.
which turned out to be absolutely like the most epic thing ever. And, I won't forget the look on my son's face. Like he was trying to process everything going on at once. Because, it's, there is visuals, like, the screens are there. There are actual like physical elements in the ride too. So it's not just screens in the ride. Yeah. So, he was looking around, the music was going, I was singing along with it. And, my son was, partially confused, but then partially going with it because he saw how excited I was.
Yeah.
And yeah, it ended up being that, when we got off the ride, we kept talking about it. Yeah. Like it ended up, my son kept, we talked about, when we got back to the room that night, we actually looked up the playlist because there's like 6 different songs that you can get on the ride. And then, following that, I ended up booking a total of 4 lightning lanes to ride this ride during our trip. So I did it 4 separate days. Yeah. Now I know some of you will say, wow, you paid to ride this ride 4 times. Yes, I did. Part of the justification was, because of how the trip played out, that, we had some dining reservations scheduled that we had to cancel. My rationale was that, because we didn't do these dining reservations, it was like, well, I've technically got some money free in the budget, and this was something that my son really wanted to do, and that I wanted to do as well. Like it ended up, being. And
it was only 2 of you doing it, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
So too, right?
Yeah, so I mean, it was still like $30 combined per ride, kind of thing. But this is not something that I would obviously do every trip, where I would ride that ride multiple times, but the way that it worked out, just again, because of how the park offers, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, sorry everybody. Trevor's battling a cold, unfortunately. So,
Yeah, sorry, I might be coughing a little bit through this because I'm still recovering.
You're powering through though. You're doing pretty well
I
so
am.
far.
Yeah. So yeah, because of how this trip played out with, there was a lot of park hopping. The lightning lanes we ended up being in Epcot, and it was like, well, since we're here, or since I knew we were going to be in Epcot in the afternoon, I might as well book the lightning lane, and we know, it gave us something to look forward to pretty much every day. So that was our first experience with that.
So your review of this is like, I mean, is it like your new favorite Disney ride? Like
Guardians is definitely top tier. I don't want to say it's the best ride there because I haven't ridden Rise or anything like that yet. All right, yeah. So I think Guardians is definitely the best coaster that I've ridden in a very, very long time. It beats every other coaster at Disney, absolutely.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. And everybody, so we talked to people as we were waiting to get on it. We chatted with people at various points through the trip, like waiting for ferry boats and stuff like that. And yeah, it's good. Like it's such a good ride.
Yeah, it's funny because while you were there, my sister was there too, right? So she's texting me about this, right? And she's just like, she said it was, I actually said, she actually said it's her favorite ride she's ever been on, period. And by the way, my sister is not a Disney like sycophant in any way, shape, or form. She is a Disney skeptic at best, right? So like, she's not just saying this because, she loves Disney. She said it was like, what did she say? She goes, I don't understand how they did that ride. Like the engineering, I don't understand. You need to go on it. It's the best ride ever. Parts of it are actually unbelievable. There's a part where you feel like you're just in the vastness of space.
Yes. Yes. It is like you put your arms up and you just go with it. And just like with the music and it's so good. Like the fact that my son and I basically spent the whole trip talking about it, and then even when we got home, like we still kept talking about it, shows just how good it really was. Like there's and in comparison, so we also did get to ride Ratatouille when we were there as well. My son, he enjoyed it. And for him, that was his first experience with a trackless car system.
Oh, okay.
The downside was, we rode that after the first time we rode Guardians. So it was, it didn't wow him the same way that Guardians did, but he definitely said, it was good. He enjoyed that just as much, but Guardians definitely, like, he talked about Ratatouille for a bit and then we went back to Guardians because it, like I said, it's that good. And yeah, like absolutely, Tom, you need to ride it. There's no question of it. Cause, I know, you've been on Space Mountain and everything.
I know.
At this
point.
Of
course. Yeah.
It's, so I think the way I described it was, it was like Everest, but like it had that, like just like 80s, like
80s vibe to it.
80s craziness to it. And with the visuals and everything, it was, it's definitely something you have to experience. Even if you're not a big roller coaster fan, it's not a crazy intense roller coaster, but it's fun. Like you just, you can't, I can't recall a single point where people didn't have their arms in the air on that ride, which, a lot of people don't put their arms up on roller coasters. This one you just do anyway. So after we, after that on the Tuesday, on the Wednesday, we went to Animal Kingdom and we had a good morning in Animal Kingdom. So we got to ride Flight of Passage again. We did Everest, and the problem was Wednesday was, again, the hurricane was coming and it was starting to rain and all that.
Well, and they closed the parks early on that Wednesday.
What we ended up doing again was, we spent a morning in Animal Kingdom, and then that was the second day we went back to Epcot. We rode Guardians again, but then because we knew that it was closing early, we ended up picking that day to, we did a bit, or we chose to just do some shopping. Like we went around World Showcase and we went shopping for some things that, like, my son had a couple of things he wanted to buy, and like souvenirs for his friends and stuff like that. And then we actually ended up eating at Creations Cafe
really?
that day, which so in the past I ragged on Electric Umbrella a lot.
Yeah.
Like, Electric Umbrella was not good. Creations is good. The menu updates, the food, the general atmosphere of the place is 100 times better than what was there before. Like, when I sat down and really thought about it, Disney actually did redeem themselves with that place. Like, it's a good example of, people talk about nostalgia and they talk, well, why did they change this and whatever. That was so overdue for a change. Like, it was very much in need of it. Like I said, the food was good. We actually, we ate there on the Wednesday, and then we went back to the park, went back to the hotel early because, everything was closing. And, the good thing was, we weren't quite sure how to deal with a hurricane, obviously, because we've never been through one before.
I mean, you've never been through one. Yeah.
So,
if you're going to go through one, though, Disney's the place to go through one, right? So.
Yeah. So what we found was, we went back to the resort, and we picked up some snacks from the Moana Mercantile in the Polynesian. Again, we weren't like, oh my gosh, like this is going to be like crazy kind of thing. It was just more like, we don't know how long this is going to last, and we did already have food in the room because we'd done an Instacart order before, when we got there. So, I wasn't too stressed about it, but it was just kind of interesting watching how the resort kind of changed as the night went on. Like people were very relaxed and casual about it. And then obviously you saw, like, the people were being told to, go stay in your rooms and stuff like that. And then, we got woken up at 3:00 in the morning by the wind and the rain and everything, as the hurricane was like, pretty much on top of it, or it was as close as it was going to be at that point. And so that was an interesting experience. And then in the morning, it again, it went from crazy rain and everything to just a light rain. But again, I was a little unprepared for it, because I was thinking, like, in the morning, I'm like, oh, is this going to be bad? And I looked out the door, and there was like people out jogging in the rain. And I was like, okay,
like nothing happened.
I was like, okay, I guess this isn't this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But again, just being that I'd never been through it before, I had no expectations of what it was. And, keeping in mind that, really it was only a category 1. So it was definitely not, as bad as it could have been. But
it was like a tropical storm by the time it got to you
at
that point. Yeah. So,
but I'm glad I got to experience it, only because of the fact that, there will be other points that I could get stuck down there in a hurricane. And at least I kind of have a point of reference for how these things go. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
It wasn't the worst thing to experience. And, it worked out good actually on the Thursday, because, we did the Christmas party. So, we ended up, or the Thursday was the day we did the Christmas party. And, the parks didn't open until like 1:00. So it worked out pretty good, because they're like, people were not running back to the parks, that day. And I think it made the Christmas party a little bit easier, because it was still kind of rainy, but by the evening, like most of the rain was gone, and it made for a generally enjoyable Christmas party because of it. Like it wasn't too hot. It wasn't raining either. So, we did, we got a chance to go around and, try a lot of the treats, which, at the Christmas party this year, the cookie game definitely stepped up from the last time that we went in 2019.
Oh, nice.
I found, like, when we went in 2019, it was, the cookies they seemed a little more bland. Like there wasn't, or the ones that we got are, felt it was like, here's just a sugar cookie, right? Like it didn't seem like there was a lot. This time there was like, there was snickerdoodles, there was some good ones with buttercream, and like everything tasted good. Like every cookie we had, and they had the eggnog and the hot chocolate and everything, and it was all really good. So the treats were good this time. The parade was what I remembered, which was just like that Christmas overdose parade, which we loved. We watched the fireworks, and we rode all the the rides. We got to do Christmas Space Mountain, which again, something you have to do at some point, Tom, because
sure.
It's funny because you can see the inside of Space Mountain because they have like all these Christmas lights going, but between the music and the lights and everything, it's pretty bonkers. So.
We talked about doing a Christmas trip maybe next year. We might do probably like around the same time that you just went. That's probably when we would do a trip. So, I don't know yet though. We're not planning for next year. So
I would recommend planning for that. We got to do all that, and then so while we were there, we were getting towards the end of the night, and we're hitting up rides because we stayed. We watched the late parade, and we kind of knew like after the late parade, a lot of people cleared out, so we went off and we were just riding rides like we were over in Adventureland. But I saw Jeremy had posted that he was at the Christmas party, so I messaged him, and him and I actually did get a chance to meet up. So, which was pretty cool. We met up in front of Big Thunder Mountain, and we ended up chatting for a little while. It was really great. Jeremy met my son. He split from his party because I guess he was with a larger group of people, and so he wasn't going to drag them all over to come and see me. But he came over. He met me and my son. We chatted for a little while. I had some stuff with me, like I had stickers and magnets and pins, so I gave him some magnets and stuff. I did see he commented in the group that I'm sorry, Jeremy, I didn't think about this either. We didn't bother to take a picture together because we were enjoying chatting with one another, but and then by the time we were done, the park was actually closing. We were like, oh, we should get back to our my wife was still over by Pirates and whatnot. So we kind of split. Your wife? Well, no, she was doing her thing. Yeah.
Yeah. She's doing her thing.
Yeah. I guess she met Peter Pan at one point. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
she finds stuff. I don't know how she does it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sorry, Jeremy, that we didn't get a picture together. I didn't even think about it as we were, talking, whatever. But yeah, it was a good Christmas party. One last observation I'll make of it, because when we were at the Christmas party, we did go on Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain really, really is in need of that update.
It's in bad shape.
It is. You can tell, we rode every ride in the park, and Disney's been pretty good about keeping stuff going. Splash Mountain, you can see where they're just not putting in the effort to maintain it, and they know that they know the overlay is coming. But the more that now that I'm looking at it, and I could see that the a lot of the animatronics were not working properly, a lot of the effects were not working properly. It was like, yeah, this is due for an upgrade. And for as much as people want to be nostalgic about it, I kind of see it the same way as, the Creations Cafe versus Electrical Umbrella. You sometimes you say you want to hold on to things, but when you get the new thing, I think it's going to be better. I think people will see the new version and they will like it a lot better.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I hate to be this guy, but it's it's Connections Cafe, not Creation. Creation Shop.
Sorry, Creation Shop, Connections Cafe. My bad.
Sorry, someone's going to email us or comment. It's like, oh, why didn't you correct him? Because everyone always does that. It's like, why didn't you correct somebody? When
sorry, you're right. It is connection. Yeah. So yeah, I was thinking, Creation Shop, because Creation Shop is, again, it's great, but Connections Cafe. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Thank you for correcting me. So that got us up to Friday, which again, Friday was we went to Disney Springs in the morning, and we were greatly disappointed by Disney Springs.
Oh, really? Why?
Yeah. I'm done with the 50th merch.
Because there's just too much of it?
It
or
is.
like
Yeah. So what we found was, we usually would go to Disney Springs. We're like, like my wife was, she was looking for a new wallet. Like, we all had a couple of things that we were hoping to find. I did again back at Creation Shop. I did find one of the Epcot 40th hoodies, which I bought. So I was happy. But when we were at Disney Springs, what we found was that, going through all the different shops, it was like, there was these huge sections of 50th merch, which is like, I don't want 50th merch. Like I missed how in like the co-op, there was different clothes that you didn't find elsewhere. There was like, kitchen stuff, and like even the pet area seemed pretty cleaned out. Like I don't know if it's because they're on the tail end of the 50th that it's like they're kind of like we were in between them cycling out merchandise or what, but we were honestly pretty, like, I was going there with the intention of buying some stuff and buying some souvenirs and stuff, and I didn't, because there just wasn't anything. There wasn't anything besides the 50th stuff, which I didn't want. So
you wanted regular stuff. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. So I was a little disappointed on that end, because, Disney, sorry, you guys, you missed my money because you wanted to push the 50th stuff. So I think they drag it on a little too long. I mean, we all know this, that,
Sure.
I know
Yeah.
they do a year celebration, but like it's going on till March. And, like I said, I was done with it like a long time ago. And yeah, like, being there and shopping for the stuff, it was like, it's all the stuff that I've seen before, right? It was I was like, oh, I'm looking for some souvenirs. Oh, great. There, it's all the same old, blue, purple, whatever stuff that they got for the 50th. So yeah. So Disney Springs ended up being a bit of a bust. And then we went to Magic Kingdom for a little while during the day. Like we had the day in Magic Kingdom, and then we ended up Friday was the day that we actually had our reservation at Space 220, which was at 4:00 in the afternoon. So we spent, we went to Disney Springs in the morning, then we went to Magic Kingdom, just kind of kept it low key, and then went over to Epcot in the afternoon. Again, it worked out. I got like a 3:30 Guardians lightning lane. So, we went on Guardians, and then we went to Space 220, which, worked out fantastically. Space 220 was by and far the best meal that we had while we were there. My wife says it was one of the best meals she's ever had, period.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I saw that in the group. I think she posted that.
Yeah. I think we all pretty much agreed, like my wife and my son had like filet mignon, and the appetizers were great. The dessert was fantastic. They had this caramel comet thing, which looked delicious. One of the problems was like everything on the dessert had, some kind of cream and whatnot in it.
Some sort of dairy.
There was actually a vegan carrot cake, which I had, which again was just phenomenal. Like it was far above anything else that I've had in terms of like carrot cake. It was I had the salmon for dinner, which the impressive thing about it was that they brought it out in one of those like it had the silver dome over it. And then the waiter removed it, and it just billowed this smoke, like it was smoked.
Oh, okay, so it had the smoke under the dome. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, all the smoke came out, and you could just smell it. Like it was just like this awesome, like hickory, wood fired salmon. So yeah, we had a really fantastic meal. We were in a booth down by the one of the windows.
Okay,
so
cool.
We got to see like the spaceships flying by and all that kind of stuff. It also worked out really well that the time of day we were there was because it was the afternoon going into the evening. The Earth actually, like there is the day and night cycle on the Earth in Space 220, like it reflects what's going on outside. So when we went in there, like it was daytime and you could see like you could see the Earth, and then as we went through our meal, you could see the lights coming on across the Earth and like sundown and all that, right? Which was, it was very cool. Like it's such a very cool immersive experience.
Did you enjoy the elevator ride up too and all that? Like the whole deal. Yeah, the whole thing is cool.
Yeah, it was front to back, just a fantastic experience. So
would you say, Trevor? Would you say, Trevor, that it was out of this world?
Literally,
I had to make the dad joke. I have to do it. Yeah. Somebody out there laughed at that. Someone laughed at it.
it was obviously, it was a great cap off to the trip. Like it was the fact that it was like our last night, and one of the last, like we went back and did a couple more rides in Epcot and whatever, but being that was like our last meal, and it was a really good sit down meal, we were super happy with it. So yeah, it finished off the trip nicely. My overall take on this trip, and my wife and I talked about it when we came back, is we realized, because it had been so long since we went to Disney, we were very unprepared at the end of the day. Like we like I said, at the beginning, we were pushing ourselves too hard. We didn't really know how to, or we forgot how to, navigate things down there, I guess, like, not running around parks and stuff like that. Sorry, go ahead.
So you didn't get to go on Rise or on Mickey and Minnie's. It sounded like you guys didn't really get to go to Hollywood Studios at all for the most part.
No, like I said, we got to Hollywood Studios late the day that we were supposed to go. So we just kind of counted it as a write-off, and we went to Epcot because we realized, we can come back next trip and do Rise and Mickey and Minnie's and all that. So,
okay.
We weren't too hurt by that. Like even, my son, he wanted to like get on Tower of Terror and stuff like that. But we all learned as we went through this trip, we kind of realized that, because of things like the hurricane, like it kind of forced us to slow down, which at the end of the day was a good thing. Like, we found that by the end of the trip, we weren't as exhausted as we've been in the past, because, we actually had more breaks and we had more, time where we weren't, running from ride to ride, which is, it's so easy to get into that mode. Right. So, so like I said, we, overall, it was a good trip. We remembered how to do Disney, and, I'm looking forward to the next one because, since we didn't get to do everything this trip, it means that I've got things to do on the next trip. So yeah.
That makes sense. I know this was, you guys it was kind of a weird trip, right?
Yeah, so, sure.
Yeah. Just with all the stuff that happened, people getting sick and weather. And, it's funny because like I said, my sister kind of had almost the same experience that you did, where everybody in her party got sick, like, except for her. Like she was with, I think 8 or 9 people, and like literally her entire party got sick. Except for her. And then and then the hurricane obviously interrupted it. And, so my sister was like, oh, this trip was like a hot mess. And I was like, yeah, it kind of was for you guys. Kind of a bit of a hot mess. Everyone got sick, and,
it's good in that you learn how to deal with it, because, and nobody wants to get sick on trips. Nobody wants to have like hurricanes and stuff. But I feel, the things I took from it is it was good because, I didn't go into this trip with high expectations to begin with. Like I had kept myself very, I told myself, hey, we may not get to do everything. And, it didn't happen, but, because we were learning to roll with the punches, and for as much as I had planned it, we threw the plan out the window pretty quick. It all still worked out. It turned out to be an okay trip because, it's good to learn how to deal with speed bumps, right?
Yeah, and for me, I've said this too. Like, I don't think it matters, how many things you do. I think it just matters if you enjoy yourself, if you have a good trip. Like we didn't do everything we wanted to do our last trip either, and we had some stress in the beginning, also with a hurricane. But we had a great trip at the end of the day, and that's all that matters, right? Yeah, you enjoyed yourself, so that's what matters. So, yeah. But I'm glad you enjoyed. I'm glad you enjoyed Space 220 and all the other stuff. That's that was good.
Yeah, and
so wait, did you get to go to your favorite restaurant, or no? Did you have to cancel that one?
We had to cancel that one because that was the morning of the hurricane where things didn't open back up until 1:00, and our reservation at Garden Grill was at 11. So,
oh man, that's a bummer.
Again, it's okay though. It happens.
It's all good. You'll go back.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
Exactly.
Well, we got a couple listener questions we can answer really quick. Well, I'm glad you're back.
We went to
Trevor,
our ad.
We can do that. We can do that.
I was going to say, let's do the ad and then we can kind of move through the rest of it.
So the sponsor of this episode is DVC Resale Market. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2021, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 1-844-382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you. Okay. So we got a couple quick questions here. Not a lot. Not a lot to go through. But Vicky asked, best on-property pizza and price categories. Less expensive, mid-range price, and expensive range. Oh man, that's tough. It's tough. Well, I feel like to say like what's expensive to some people, what's not expensive to some people.
I think the high end one is Via Napoli.
Yeah, no, I think for me Via Napoli is my pick overall. Right, like that's the best.
Yeah, and I mean it's not cheap either. Like it is pretty expensive, but you also get like a lot of pizza.
You get a lot of pizza. Yeah. No. So I think Via Napoli's up there. I guess honestly, I'll say this: when we were on our last trip, we had flatbread pizzas at Pinocchio, the Pinocchio Village House right there.
Yeah.
They were pretty good. They were decent. They weren't the best I've ever had, but they weren't bad. I mean, and they were reasonable. They were like $10, I think. Yeah,
I would agree with that. We've eaten there in the past, and it was Village House is a pretty solid pick for pizza.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think where else there is. Yeah, I guess there's like Pizza Safari.
Well, it's Pizza Safari, right? And there's the Pizza Window on Boardwalk, which I've actually never been able to get pizza from. But I mean, that's all I can really think. I mean, there's Pizza Rizzo, right? Which I've actually never been to.
I don't even know where or
it's over in the Muppets area. It's over, by the Muppets.
Oh yeah, because they used to be Pizza Planet. That's right.
Yeah, it used to be Pizza Planet. Yeah, now it's Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah, I got it now.
Right. Which I'm not against going to, but like that's probably, I don't think that's really that good of a place. I feel like we tend to go. If we're at Hollywood Studios and we need quick service, we tend to do like ABC Commissary, which is usually pretty good, or even like the Backlot. Like either one of those are usually pretty good. So like we really haven't had a desire to go there.
Yeah, Hollywood Studios, there's I'm usually not thinking about like pizza. There's so many other good things to eat there.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do, it's funny. I just Google Pizza Rizzo and then, Disney Food Blog pops up and it says review. Order anything but the pizza at Pizza Rizzo.
There's your answer.
Yeah, no, I don't know what a mid-range one would be. But I mean, I've had some pizza at some of the resort ones before that have been decent. But, I think nothing in my mind is going to be Via Napoli. I mean, Via Napoli's just up there. So
it is. I mean, full stop.
I agree. So Dan K is asking, happy Thanksgiving. Where are you going for Thanksgiving and what are you bringing? And then for Trevor, past tense, because you already had Thanksgiving. Yeah. I like that question.
So for me, it was easy. We hosted Thanksgiving. So we did the turkey and the stuffing. I had family members bring yams and potatoes, and yeah, we had like roast vegetables. We had a green bean casserole, and it was all at my house because we had been itching to actually do Thanksgiving because we haven't done it in like 3 years. So we were happy to put on Thanksgiving this year.
Yeah, and so similar for me. I'm a huge thing. I love Thanksgiving, right? So like it's one of my favorite holidays. You just get to be a glutton and just just eat a whole bunch of food and nobody judges you. So you get all sorts of good. Eat all sorts of stuff you usually don't eat for throughout the year, right? So for me, I'm like a big turkey guy. I love turkey. I love mashed potatoes. I'm a big sides guy. So I this year, although we have a turkey and a ham. So we have a honey baked ham as well as the turkey. So we're gonna have some we're gonna have some choices here, which I'm pretty excited about. But we usually do like a green bean casserole, like you talked about. We also do this casserole that's like it's gonna sound weird to people, but it's delicious. We do like this broccoli cheese cracker casserole thing, which is like basically just like broccoli Velveeta and like Ritz crackers and some butter and stuff in there. But it's like the best.
Yeah,
like
I can
one of
see
my
that.
favorites. Oh yeah, it's really good. Yeah, my aunt always used to make it, and it's become one of my favorites. And then I don't know what else we're doing this year. The interesting thing at my house, so everybody's coming to us, and we typically do this for all the holidays now. Just with my daughter being 4.5, it's a little bit more difficult for us to travel, so we usually have people come to us. And so I have my dad and my stepmother coming here, and my sister's actually on her way right now as I'm speaking. She's on her way here right now. But my sister and brother-in-law are vegetarians, so they're going to have, I don't know, a tofurkey or I have some sort of vegetable turkey thing. I don't know. But so, yeah, we're going to have 3 different, main dishes like that,
I was going to say, your sister, I mean, you just make sure you got extra mashed potatoes.
Well, that's, listen, I think there's no amount of mashed potatoes that's too many mashed potatoes. I love mashed potatoes. I love gravy too. I know not everybody's a gravy person. I'm really into gravy.
Mm-hmm.
The one side I don't really dig is stuffing, which I know people will give me a hard time.
I love stuffing. That's my favorite. Like,
my wife
I will
likes
eat
stuffing
all
too.
the stuffing.
Yeah. I'm not a stuffing person. I'm not a big fan. So yeah.
All
so
right.
anyway, so Thanksgiving, my house. I'm not. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not bringing anything because we're making everything here. My sister's also bringing she called it a baklava pumpkin pie. So I'm assuming the crust is baklava and it's a pumpkin pie, which sounds interesting, but I don't really eat pumpkin pie, but I do like baklava. So I don't know. But I think that's an interesting idea.
Very, very flaky crust is what you get.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's an interesting idea. I don't know what it is really, but I mean, she said she's bringing it. So I'm like, okay, cool. We'll check that out. I also need to, I don't know about you. I'm a big apple pie guy. I like to have an apple pie for Thanksgiving. That's a big one for me.
No, I'm team pumpkin pie. That's our go-to.
Definitely team apple pie for me. Or cherry pie. I used to love cherry pies a lot. Oh, love a good cherry pie. So I saw there was a lot of pie conversation going on in either the group or the Discord. I don't remember where, but there was a lot of pie conversation going on.
We do not do cherry pie around here. It's
like in Canada, or just at your house?
At least in my house, I'm sure you can find cherry pies. Like there are some people that will do apple and like I like pumpkin, but I don't think I've ever seen a cherry pie at any Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Trevor, are you aware of shoe fly pie?
I've heard of it. I have no idea what it actually is.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's funny because I've only had it once ever in my life. It's very, my family background is Pennsylvania Dutch. Like a lot of my family's from Pennsylvania, and it's our lineage is Pennsylvania Dutch, and it's very much like an Amish country kind of dish. It's interesting, but I know a lot of people were talking about shoe fly pie, and again, either the Discord or the group. I don't remember which one, but not my favorite. But I know my dad is all about shoe fly pie. Wow, can't say that. But it's very much a Pennsylvania thing here in the States. So yeah,
I'm looking at it right now, and I still don't know what it actually is.
It's like a molasses kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a molasses creme cake kind of thing, but it's a pie. Yeah, it is.
All right.
But yeah, I mean, I've never had one, but like I said, if you like go into Amish country, like in Pennsylvania, like that's shoe fly pies are everywhere. That's the thing. So I'm sure some of our northern listeners will know exactly what I'm talking about. So, all right, and this question, I guess, is really just for me because you're not a sports guy, Trevor. So this and Damon's not here yet. So
I don't know. I don't know what. I'm guessing this is like soccer versus football. So Dan H says Thanksgiving football, Buffalo versus Detroit or Brazil versus Serbia. What are you watching?
So we've got NFL football versus World Cup, right?
I'm probably watching Disney Plus.
There you go. So, I mean, we always watch football in my house. So that being said, my sister is going to be here. She loves the World Cup. She's already told me that she's going to dominate my television with World Cup stuff. So probably going to be some World Cup going on, but we're definitely going to watch football. I mean, we can't not watch football around here. So on Thanksgiving, it's like a tradition. You fill yourself up with turkey and food, and then you plop on the couch and you watch football for a couple hours. Now, that being said, my daughter usually does not allow us to watch anything other than what she wants to watch. So, we're going to have to fight against that. But, but at the end of the day, it's up to us. So, we'll figure it out. All right. So I know Damon wanted to talk about that's all of our questions for this week. I know Damon wanted to talk about the next two topics that we had on here, so we can hold off on those.
I'm here.
He's here. Okay, there he is.
I was just waiting for something interesting to talk about.
You didn't want to answer the question about Thanksgiving foods?
No, not really.
Not really.
Right.
Okay. Well, do you want to then read this water ride patent thing?
Sure.
I know you wanted to talk about this, so you brought it to our attention.
I did. So Disney patent, and again, this is all right. Is this? I don't know how the people find the patent stuff, except looking it up. So I can only assume this is on the up and up. So
yeah,
Disney
this isn't
patents,
rumor. This is real. Yeah, this is
new water ride simulator, possibly for Moana attraction. That's the not we don't know part, but they definitely patented it as some sort of ride simulator. It's pretty interesting. So it looks like it's this patent that allows them to do water rides that are a little bit more roller coaster-ish, something that's a little bit more, I don't know what you would say, thrilling, I guess, right? Is that what that says here?
Sure.
So there's a cable system that's attached to the sides of the boat that could simulate movements of waves and immersive soundtrack, but I think the projection dome around the boat and the water is kind of neat. I love this as an idea. Again, I was really just sold on holograms as kind of this next step for Disney rides. But this has me really excited in terms of rides, right? Like, I think what they could do here, whether it's Moana or something else, it doesn't really matter what the IP is attached to it. But you could, with this dome around it and the simulation of water, I mean, you could really do something really interesting. The problem I have with this actually making its way to Disney is that so many people get seasick. I just don't know if this is something that makes sense if you're talking about Disney, catering to a large audience, because I know that even people in my family are not huge, out on the water sort of people. Now, that being said, they've done a great job with cruise ships and keeping people, stomachs safe, right? And on the up and up for cruise ships. So, I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be that crazy. So thrilling, it could be a tempered expectation depending on that. But again, it could also be like Mission Space where you have two versions of it. The only way I see this working, though, is if you're talking about something that gives you like a Viking ship size or something that's rather large.
It's got to be bigger.
I feel like.
Yeah, it's got to be bigger for capacity. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, but then again, the Millennium Falcon ride is not a huge capacity, right? They just run multiples. Same thing for Soarin'. So, I mean, I guess you could have 10 of these pushing people through and then maybe only have, 8 to 10 people on a boat. But this is really cool. Like, I really could get on board with this.
Yeah, it's definitely an interesting idea. And I mean, it does feel like they actually are going to use this for a Moana ride, considering the concept art we saw for a Moana Land, and it kind of had like,
But they're doing something already for Epcot, right? With Moana,
yeah.
In a spot where you can't really add to it. So you're going to separate that IP out.
Yeah, I mean they multiple IP in now in different parks, right? I mean, they have the same IP in different parks now. I don't know.
I think that's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, listen, it's a boat. It could be Vikings. It could be
of course,
it could be anything.
I mean, they could overhaul the entire Pirates of the Caribbean ride and do something. I mean, like they can do that.
I mean, we have cars and airplanes, so maybe we have boats now. Yeah, just don't know. But I think that from an IP standpoint, this is something that again has me pretty excited in terms of something that's new. And again, right, so since they just patented it, like we're talking years and years, maybe my grandkids will see something like this, but outside of that, I think it's a good idea.
No, I agree with this. I do.
But when did the patent for the lightsabers actually come out? How far in advance was that? Remember the roll-up lightsaber that they did the patent for?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's probably like a couple years ahead of time, right? Like,
I feel like we talked about 2 years before we saw it with Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, because it's one thing for them to draw this up on a piece of paper, but I'm sure they haven't actually built this and tested it, right? Like they think this will work, but they probably don't know if.
Usually really cool.
Usually,
I guess if you're getting a patent, it has to work, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they've already done some testing if there's a patent for it.
That's true. That's true.
It's them basically marking that, hey, we figured this out and this is our idea.
I just see this boat bobbing in the waves as just like
people are puking in the water.
Like, yeah, exactly. Sponsored by Dramamine, right? Like,
sponsored by Dramamine.
That's
the interesting
thing.
Yeah, the interesting thing is because it is controlled. To your point, Damon, I think they can create a simulation or make it seem like it's more rough than it is, but it may not.
Point. That's why you get sick, though, right? Is the thought of it doesn't necessarily have to be. And I think the problem is, Trevor, even though we have these projections, pretty well synced, we all knew how Star Tours was messing people up badly before it was redone, right? Like,
sure,
that's I'm still kind of scared. Like, dude, that
it still does, though. No, it still
really
does,
messing
man.
People up.
It still messes people up. I mean, there are people that will go on it.
Yeah. But did you guys go? Like, we were there a few months before they shut it down. Dude, it was messing people up because again, they weren't synced as well. It's going to be interesting because I think you have the same sort of feeling even with VR, right? You have people that even when it's synced extremely well, that it's tough. So I hope that they're able to do something like you said, Trevor, where it's not making people as sick, but it's still pretty thrilling because I think that's where it's going to be tough to make both of those things happen. Or they don't care. Wouldn't that be great if we actually had a ride that was thrilling and people got sick, like Mission Space?
Well, I mean, a lot of people think Cosmic Rewind's like that, right? Because a lot of people get motion sick on that, and they're just kind of like deal with
why. It's like a walk in the park. That's
a ton of people have been complaining about getting. It's like a whole thing on the internet.
I have more fun walking in Epcot than that ride.
You're so in the minority on this, David. It's amazing.
I'm not, because you know what? I can be in the minority, but I've seen multiple posts about people saying the exact same thing as I'm saying in different groups and in our group. So I'm definitely not the only one.
I've not seen, or my experience has not been anybody saying so. Nobody has said that it's not a thrilling ride, and that I've not seen anything that you're talking about, Damon. That's my point.
You literally just
I don't know where you're seeing this.
People have said the exact same thing in our group. It's
I
literally an upgraded Space Mountain.
The majority,
majority is fine, right? I mean,
no. I'm just saying there was like one or two people that like
exactly. But you're talking like I'm the only person that thinks that.
No.
Definitely not the case.
I'm not saying you're the only person.
Oh, I'm definitely not, because it's not just our group. I mean, other groups are saying the same thing. I just think for real roller coaster people, that's not a real roller coaster. That's what it comes down to, right? There's more exciting roller coasters. That's an entertaining ride, maybe, but it's not a thrill ride. That's definitely not a thrill ride.
It is a thrill ride, but it's bigger than the sum of its parts.
Yeah,
is the thing.
I don't think so, but
it is. I wrote it.
I mean, you could say it is, but I would disagree with you because I don't think.
And that's fair. That is totally fair. I'm telling you that my experience with it was, it's definitely not the fastest or the highest or the craziest roller coaster, but all of the elements combined. No, all of the elements combined make it better.
Make it better than what?
Make it better than any other ride I've ridden at Disney at this point.
Well, yeah, maybe so, but that is definitely not saying much. Because when it comes to thrill rides, they just don't. That's not what they do.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's not what they were trying to do with this. I mean, it's they've said from the beginning it was a family ride. Like they're not trying to build the
but
fastest.
There's nothing new in it. Like this to me, when you talk about this water ride motion simulator patent, like that's new. What that ride is nothing. Yes, it's a combination of parts that are put together semi-entertainingly.
Okay, Damon, I could say this is the same as the Pirates ride that was at Disney Quest. You have some screens and you have a simulator and you have a boat. It's the same thing.
That ride also rocked the house.
Yeah, but it's nothing new, Damon. I can do the same thing.
Well, no, because there was no hole around you, sort of
dome,
right? Like
there
was no dome around that. I mean, that was a cool ride. The raft stuff was in front of you, though. But it wasn't around you.
So because it was a dome and instead of curved screens, that makes it different? It's the same thing.
Well, no, because that was not all-encompassing, right? That raft ride was more in front of you. I mean, I've ridden that multiple times. I mean, that was in front of you, and it was kind of cool, but it wasn't all-encompassing.
By the way,
I think that's what's different.
This also doesn't look like, I don't know if this actually would move, meaning like, it looks like it just would be bobbing in the water. It seems like it's kind of...
Yeah, I think they're going to simulate.
Yeah, it's more the screens or the screen is making you feel like you're moving. Like
the raft was kind of the same way. I mean, the best part about the raft was that there was on the rowers there was actually wheels. Like that was so cool. Like I think an updated version of that is way better than Guardians.
I'm not talking about the raft. I'm talking about the Pirates one where you were on the pirate ship and you had the cannons and you had one person driving the ship and the other people were cannoning boats as you were driving by.
I don't remember that. Was that a Quest?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I don't remember that one. I was there. Must have been during that time. I don't remember that one. I'd have to look it up.
It was the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
Well, then obviously it was one of the best rides I never rode.
Yeah, obviously.
But unless it was all encompassing, I don't think it's the same. You have to have this immersive projection dome around the boat and water. That's what I feel like is the kicker here that we haven't seen. But I like this. I think this would be cool. I think that if they can make it, I think if they can make it so that it feels very like you feel very alone. I think that the Navi River ride, which I love, by the way, I think the glaring issue with that ride is seeing the boats in front of you. Right. I know they try not to, but again, they're pushing so many people through it. I think that ride would be immensely better if you couldn't see the boats in front of you. So I'm hoping that this is one of those things where you kind of feel like you're alone. That would be kind of cool. And then if a shark came out,
being isolated in your own ride that is a cool feeling when
absolutely.
I
feel like that's what's missing on a lot of rides. And I think Disney does a particularly bad job because they try to push so many people through rides. And I get it. I get it.
And the reason, for me, the biggest reason is there's always that one person who can't keep their phone away and that doesn't turn the flash off.
Or want to record the whole thing.
Yeah, they're either recording it or they're trying to take a picture of something in a dark ride and their flash goes off and it's like, your picture is going to look like garbage. And all you've done is annoy everybody around you.
Maybe they can have one of those things where you have to put your phone in a box before you get in. Wouldn't that be fun?
Oh, gosh.
That would be good.
That'd be so great.
Just make everyone put their phones in boxes.
But I'm behind this ride.
Enjoy the ride, people.
I think if they can make it immersive without making people sick, I think that would be really cool. I was listening to, I don't know what they call themselves anymore, the Disney Dads podcast or whatever it is now. And they were talking, what were they talking about recently? They were talking about how, the Mickey's Runaway Train is such an underrated ride, right? From the standpoint of, just the feel of it. And again, like just give me something that's, makes me feel like I'm on a ride. I don't know. I feel like I still go back to Guardians and even with the screens and stuff, it just feels very thrown together. I don't know, man. I just don't know. I don't like it. It feels very so thrown together.
My sister had the exact.
I don't feel like I'm immersed in the ride. That's the thing. Like I feel like I can see the tracks. I kind of can feel like what's going on. It doesn't feel immersive, especially those, the portal shoots or whatever they are. Like they're just ugh, like they're not immersive. Like, I don't know why things can't be more immersive. And this is one of those things that feels like it could be fully immersive. And that's why I like the Void too. I felt like the Void was pretty immersive. And I just didn't feel like Guardians was that immersive.
It's just funny because my sister, I was talking about this before you got on, had the exact opposite reaction where she said that she literally felt like she was floating in space, and she doesn't understand how they created such an immersive ride. And
it's a roller coaster. I didn't feel like I was floating in space.
No, that's what she said.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I mean, everyone has an opinion. I felt like the best part about that ride was that hallway. Like I said, I would agree that hallway was super immersive. That was super cool. I felt like it was large enough to be all encompassing and make you feel like you were there. But the ride, the ride's not that special.
I mean, I will continue to disagree with you on this.
You can, but this immersiveness that they're talking about here, yeah, I like that. Like, I mean, I think Soarin's cool too, but like, I don't want to see other people's feet. And I know they try not to do that, but
that's why you got to get top row. You got to get top row.
But you still see somebody, you still feel somebody to the left and right of you. Like, you know what I mean? You don't feel like you're really there.
I do feel like you get more of that on like Flight of Passage though. Like Flight of Passage is a lot more intimate. Like,
yeah, but it's so cartoony. Like, that's the problem I have with that. Like, I just don't know why we couldn't have had something that wasn't like the CGI could have been better. Like, it feels very video game-ish, that ride. Yeah, that's what I don't like about that. And it didn't age well for me at all. Like, they were already behind the curve, and now they're so far behind the curve. Like, that needs an update. That needs a new graphics engine. That would be way better if that was the case.
I mean, I'm sure they could. Maybe they'll update it for the new movie coming out.
That would be cool.
Yeah, they might. They can always change. I mean, that's one of those rides, just like Soarin', that they can change, right? So,
I mean, they could, yeah.
Yeah. So,
all right, let's talk about this cake bake shop.
Trevor, did you have anything else you wanted to say? I thought you were trying to chime in there for a sec. Okay.
No, I'm good.
All right, so Cake Bake Shop released for Disney's Boardwalk.
Just as some concept art of the outside of it.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I love the idea of a cake bake shop. I hate that it's at Boardwalk because it's not a Boardwalk thing.
I mean, what do you mean it's not I mean, a bakery in general? Is that what you're saying?
A cake bake shop that looks like that.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Tell me where you've seen one of those on a boardwalk.
It
looks like it should be a Grand Floridian.
Absolutely. And that's what everyone that I've talked to has said. And it would be fit great there. And I love the concept. I love a bake shop. I mean, gosh, there couldn't be anything I would love more, but the boardwalk, dude, I couldn't see it that at the Jersey Shore. I couldn't see that at any other place I've been to that's had a boardwalk. It's a little, listen,
fancy. Every place at the Jersey Shore on the boardwalk is not the,
but why not make
the nicest
a funnel cake place?
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah.
That would be awesome. Like, why is that not there? And I feel like that would fit way better. I like Boardwalk because it kind of feels like a boardwalk. And then you put like some fancy smancy, cake shop there. It does not feel like the Boardwalk anymore.
To be fair, I mean, if you go to like, Atlantic City is not the nicest place in general, but the Boardwalk there's like a whole area of like high end shops on that boardwalk. But like, you're right. You don't really find high end shops on like, if you go to the Jersey boardwalk. I mean, it's just not one of the boardwalks.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the way you do.
I'm not an Atlantic City person, but I mean, I understand what you're getting at, but I just feel like that wasn't the vibe that they had before. That's not what they were shooting for. And it just seems a little out of place.
Yeah, I get that.
Based on what they kind of had there previously. But then again, they were dealing with, the ESPN place, which maybe, this looks like it's more of easier, turnover to something like this than it would have been to do something different, maybe just based on the location and the way the building was already set up. But I just think a missed opportunity. Could have had funnel cakes, which obviously have a way higher profit margin. I mean, because what are funnel cakes really, right? And I just feel like they could have really done something like that. Yeah,
I mean, go ahead, Trevor. You're going to say something?
Yeah, I agree with you, Damon. Like, and I guess the thing is, the more that I'm looking at this, it's kind of like the problem is, like we said, it feels like it should be at the Grand Floridian. And when you're thinking about when you're at Disney, it's like you want to go, or people want to go to certain areas for certain things, right? It doesn't make sense. Like, like you said, if you're thinking about, hey, I want to go to the boardwalk, you're not thinking about like tea time and this like really upscale looking thing.
Too upscale for a boardwalk.
Yeah.
It's very
so the people that are the people that are looking for something like this, they're over at Grand Floridian. They're not at Boardwalk, which it doesn't like I guess it's the whole thought process around grouping similar things together. The same thing we were just talking about with having do you split an IP between different
do you see the interior? Now, again, we don't know what that's going to look like because this is just from another cake bake shop location.
Yeah,
but the interior is just like,
it's bougie.
This does not look like a place I would go to really anywhere. This is a little too high scale. Like I'm just looking at their menu for their existing places.
Where's the menu? I didn't even look at that.
Oh yeah.
I feel you would end up here with your daughter at some point.
I would end up here to eat a cake. Like I don't care about the menu, like the savory menu, but like I'll have definitely some cakes here. Like, I'll have some desserts and stuff. But this place is going to be pricey. I mean, just at their regular locations, a sandwich is $18. Imagine when they throw it onto the boardwalk, it's probably going to be at least mid-20s for a turkey sandwich. So, this place is going to be pricey. I just don't. I mean, listen, I like the idea of a bake shop, and I don't have a problem with the design. I see your point, Damon. Like, it's very, very white. And, I mean, the concept, I mean, it's just all painted completely white. And even the inside is just pretty much all super, super white. And it feels very, I don't know, just like you said, it feels great, very Grand Floridian. Wow, Grand Floridian.
It is interesting, though, that this chocolate cake that's won all sorts of awards. Like, I mean, I'm going to have to go just based on that, though.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I'm going to want a chocolate cake. They got an apple crumble pie. Give me that. Give me a butterscotch pie. I want all that. There's a lot of stuff on this menu that I want to eat. But I'm probably not going to go to the savory side, like, because they're going to have a savory side and they're going to have the bakery, right? So,
wait, please tell me that what I'm looking at here, these prices are for a slice of cake?
I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah, it's a pricey.
And how is the millionaire cake less money than the cookie dough cake?
It's a valid
question. That doesn't make sense to me.
I don't know if this is, I mean, it just says pies, right? So, I mean, I'm assuming this is not for an entire pie, though.
No, not for $16.
No,
that's got to be
for a slice.
Yeah, it's got to be per slice.
Vanilla ice cream is $6 on top of that. And again, we're just looking at the menus for the other locations, but I'm sure it will be similar, if not more.
A scoop for $6?
A scoop? $6. You heard me.
What could possibly be in that vanilla ice cream that makes it $6? That's absurd.
Well, vanilla bean is quite expensive. I'm making a vanilla bean custard pie, and it's not cheap.
Real vanilla bean, yeah, that'll cost you.
By the way, that being said, though, I mean the cakes look delicious. I mean, they're tiny cakes, so maybe it is like a
no.
You don't
keep
think
reading
so?
there for no. It looks like a slice though isn't small.
Yeah, I mean, the slice would have to be big if you're going to charge me $16 for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it better be a very generous scoop of ice cream for $6. And this is just their prices, their regular prices. Like I said, as soon as I get to Disney, these prices are going to be even worse.
I mean, maybe
not. I mean, because I think this place is in New York. So, I mean, I feel like New York prices are comparable to Disney prices, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it'll be similar. But to your point, Trevor, this afternoon tea thing, I could see doing that with my daughter, or my wife doing that with my daughter.
That's I can see that being, the appeal of this is, people going and doing afternoon tea and all that, which again, they offer that at the Grand Floridian. So I guess, it gives a little bit more, options for people, but it's, I think I'm looking through the menu. The only thing for me that stands out is the lemonade has refills included. So I'll just sit and drink lemonade for $4 a glass and get my money's worth out of that. Yeah.
Woo. Man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That is rough. Oh wait, it's not New York. This is Indianapolis, of all places. All right.
Hey, good cake is good cake, and sometimes good cake can be expensive.
I don't disagree with you. I assumed it was New York based on the prices, but wow. That's crazy. All right. Well, I mean,
wait, this is like a first. There's 3 things in a row that I am interested in.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. So next we have this Disney Cruise Line announcement of an acquisition of a ship.
This was rumored for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And essentially, if those that don't know about this, there was a cruise ship that was under construction that was like, I think it was like a $2.2 billion cruise ship or something crazy like that. And the company that was building it went out of business in the middle of it being built. So it was just kind of sitting there, not finished. And they were thinking that they weren't going to be able to find a buyer for it. There was talk that they were just going to scrap this whole thing. And now Disney has swooped in and bought this cruise ship, this unfinished cruise ship.
Which is awesome. I mean, it's not going to impact the United States.
It does seem like they're going to keep this in the Asian market, is what the word is what I'm
so, I mean, it's still pretty darn cool, though.
Yeah, so it's,
I like this. I like this. I wish that maybe Disney, kind of does something like this to get more cruise ships out there. Maybe it brings the price down, which would probably won't, but
I never bring the price down.
That's true.
But
nice?
Yeah, but this one's going to be based outside the United States. It's a pretty large ship. I don't know how it compares to the other ships in the fleet, but 6,000 people, guests with 2,300 crew members on the ship. So Disney's going to finish the ship off basically, and make it Disney-esque. I don't know if it's going to be though. Like, it feels like it's not going to be like the other Disney ships where they're like, because they designed those things from scratch. It seems like they're probably going to have to like adapt to the.
Well, I heard there's a casino in it, right? So like they'll have to do something with that. So we don't know what that means. So the Wish and stuff are like, I think they're around 4,000 people.
Okay,
so this is going to be bigger than that.
It looks bigger than that. Like, it looks like a huge cruise ship. I mean,
I've seen some of these cruise ships recently that have like, there's one that's coming that really just looks like a city at this point. Forget where it's from, coming in like 24 or something, and it's huge.
Yeah, because even like this one's got like 3 different smokestacks, where most of the Disney ones I think only have the 2 stacks. Like this one's big. So I don't know. Like I said though, I don't know how it compares to the other ships. But I mean, I think it's pretty. I'm sure they got it for like nothing compared to what they would have paid for it, since it was just going to get scrapped anyway, right? Like they probably got a great deal on it.
Mm-hmm.
So and now with them, go ahead, Trevor.
So I'm going to put the question out there because I think there's some people thinking the same thing as me. Disney has done this in the past where they bought up something like Paradise Pier is a good example. It was a hotel that was owned by another company. Disney bought it and turned it into a Disney hotel, but it came with the issues that the previous hotel still had. Things like, the elevators weren't designed very well, stuff like that. I'm questioning, if this is not a front to back designed by Disney boat.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do you suppose it will actually be as good as the other Disney Cruise Line ships?
Well, I think that what we have in this day and age is more data driven design than anything, right? And I think that when you're spending this amount of money on a ship, you still have to have somebody dealing with the design and how cruise ships should function. So I don't see that as big of a problem in this day and age with the amount of data mining that we do, maybe as in the past, changing the casino out to something else. I mean, things like that. I mean, I don't think so. I just don't think it's as big a deal as it was in the past, where you had like poorly designed things. I just don't think that's the norm these days. That's my thought.
I would bet that they're going to plug in a lot of stuff that they've done in other ships. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the Disney ships now have like unique stuff for each ship. Like I would bet that they probably, since they're just buying this, that they're probably going to plug in like, the new Star Wars lounge thing that they're doing.
75% done. So plugging in, is going to be a little bit tougher.
That's what I was thinking.
I still kind of hold true to the fact, like they're going to have room to kind of work with based on, what are they cutting down the amount of passengers that it was originally built for, right?
Yeah, it was supposed to be 9,000, I think, and they cut it to 6.
So with that comes the ability to move things a little bit, even at 75% done. I think the casino, which probably pretty large area, will allow them to kind of play around with those things. But I think the bigger thing is the 9,000 to 6,000, right? So think about it. With 3,000 rooms, you can create space for things that maybe weren't part of it. Now, I think elevator design is again, probably pretty data driven at this point. So I don't think that is going to be as big of an issue. So I think I'm okay with this. I mean, I think it will be fine.
It's worth noting too that the company that is building this ship is the company that built 3 of the other Disney ships, right? So like they know what they've done. They built these ships before for Disney, so they probably have a good idea of what Disney needs and what Disney's coming in with. I'm sure that's how they ended up buying it in the first place. And that they have a relationship with the shipyard, so
it's going to be interesting because it's such a large ship and it is not part of the U.S. market, which is very interesting for the way that Disney usually does things.
That's true. I mean, they have been trying to expand in like the Asian markets, though, with the parks and everything. And I mean, they didn't have a cruise ship, so
yeah, it's kind of like though. Listen, whether people we can debate between Disneyland or Disney World, but at the end of the day, Disney World's just so much larger, right? It's kind of the crown jewel of what you would consider park wise, right? Overall, and then you're going to say, okay, but their crown jewel of cruising is not part of the U.S. And it's just an interesting thought.
Yeah.
It's different, right? So I didn't say it's bad or good, but it just is different than what we're kind of used to.
Yeah, and I do wonder why they're not bringing this to the U.S. Like, is it just?
I don't think they need it.
Yeah, I mean, aren't they already? Because they are already building another ship. I think there's another ship being built right now for the U.S.
Yeah, I don't think this sort of ship is needed, right? Disney loves to do these 3-4 day Caribbeans, right? Like, I just don't think this is that ship.
I get that. So yeah, no, I thought this was a really interesting news item because I think I saw I read an article about the ship, and then about a week later I saw that some of our friends, we've got a couple podcaster friends that do Disney Cruise Line stuff, and I saw them start posting that there was a rumor that Disney was going to buy the ship, and lo and behold, the rumors were correct. They went ahead and did it. So it makes sense though. I mean, Disney's probably one of the few cruise line operators a lot of these cruise line operators are struggling because cruising still hasn't recovered yet, and I mean starting to, but I think Disney's still doing pretty well with their cruise line and, want to keep expanding it. So, all right. So the last couple of things, and, I put food on here again because, Damon, you posted in the group asking if people like when we talk about food, and I think the majority of people said that they did. So we'll keep talking about food then. But first we have the merchandise. So they put out some holiday merchandise stuff. We always like buying some of those stuff that's like holiday oriented. Although, funny enough, we did not make a trip into the Christmas shop this past trip. I don't know if you did, Trevor, but
we did. Yeah,
we usually do. We just didn't for whatever reason.
Yeah, we found some good stuff there. I'm kind of sad that I missed these Star Wars ornaments, though. Particularly the Yoda on Dagobah one. Looks like it's from Return of the Jedi.
That's pretty cool, actually. I'm sure you could. Oh, well, I was going to say you could order it from Disney, but I forgot that you can't do that. So
I can, but I don't really want to pay double the price.
Oh yeah, well, there's that. Okay, yeah. But I mean, yeah, there's some cool Star Wars ones. There's a couple interesting Marvel ones, like Black Panther throwing a snowball and Thor standing on some gifts and an Iron Man snowman. All right.
Yep.
I mean, I like it. They're fun. They're definitely some interesting things there.
Just noticed Mjolnir is wrapped up in a present on the Thor one.
Really? Is it? Oh, it's wrapped up. Okay, I like that. That's a fun idea. That's good. I also like I like this Monsters Inc. wreath that they've got going on here. I don't know if you scrolled down and saw that one. I thought that was kind of
yeah. Mm-hmm. And the stocking too.
The
Sully stocking. Yeah. Again, kind of wish I had gone a couple of weeks later because I probably would have been able to check out some of the stuff in person.
And you would have been able to avoid a hurricane.
Instead of more 50th merch.
Yeah, more 50th merch. I actually like these stockings too with Mickey and Minnie on them too that are in there. There's some really cool ones in the Mickey wreath. They've got some interesting stuff this year that I really like. I mean, they always have good stuff, so. I also saw, Trevor, that they were testing the train in a full loop now. Did you see the videos going around of the train going around?
Yeah, I did. I'm sad because I was hoping maybe we would have had an opportunity to see it or whatever, but no dice for us on our trip.
Yeah.
Oh,
next trip.
Yeah.
All right, let's do food. Let's talk about food.
Okay.
I it seems like everybody. I mean, there were a couple people that said they skipped through it, but from what I saw in the group, the majority of people like when we talk about food. So we will talk about food. I don't know if Damon is out or what, but if Damon's still hanging out there, he's going to talk food with us. But we finally are getting our foodie guide for the Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, which begins on November 25th. So that's really soon here. And that goes all the way to the end of the year, basically. So there's 15 holiday kitchens. So we have Meli Kalikimaka, which I could not say for a second there. That was almost
Yeah, that,
but
that almost went bad. Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, they have a pork dish with sweet potatoes and mango salad.
It's good. This is one of the ones I've been
You had
to.
this
So
one.
that's it.
That's a good one.
That's really good.
Yeah, that looks good. I mean, it looks really good. And then there's
Coconut pudding is very good.
Yeah, the
Oh,
coconut pudding looks really good too.
Okay, so you've had that, Damon. Nice. Let's see. What is this one? Noche Buena Cocina. Okay. So there's somebody that speaks Spanish is going to get on me for that one, but that's fine. Impossible chorizo tamale with plant-based cotija cheese and spicy red chili sauce. That's a new one.
First two look good.
Mm-hmm.
Which
I'm in on that.
Actually, the cookie looks good too. The cookie stroll is something you should do if you're there for this.
Yeah, so the second one is Mojo. Is that like Mojo? I don't know what's the right way to say that, but Mojo, I'm going to say, with tostones and ketchup mayonnaise. Okay, and then the vanilla shortbread cookie with dulce de leche, and coconut. This all sounds good. By the way, this is near the port of entry, so this is not a specific like country or anything. It's just near the port of entry.
Yeah.
Are you guys fans of? So you guys are both into these. Do you guys like the glazed like nuts? Because I love at least walking by one of those little booths and just getting the smells. But I do love a good like glazed cashew.
I don't know if I've ever had glazed cashews or anything like that. No.
Oh man, I love those. Those are one of my favorite. It's not even really a holiday thing. You can have those anytime. So, all right. So then we have Holiday Hearth Desserts, which is over at the Odyssey. So we got a red velvet mini bundt cake, a salted caramel spaceship Earth cookie. Is there no picture of that?
Guess not.
Okay, because I want to see what that looks like. Why wouldn't you post a picture of a spaceship Earth cookie? I want to see that. Snowball cookies, peppermint bark, which I think I said this on the last episode. I'm very into peppermint bark. I love peppermint bark. Mouse crunch made with M&Ms and chocolate candies. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
Sounds like a trail mix, maybe.
Trail mix. Yeah, you're probably right about that. And then there's a maple mousse and cranberry rolled in gingerbread chiffon cake.
Okay, it's a bûche de Noël. You can say it. Bûche de Noël. I
was just skipping over that, but yeah. I'm glad that you jumped in on that.
I saw how you skipped that. No, you got to have that.
I got to say it correct. I got to say it. Okay. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I love like holiday baking stuff, and I know Damon's really into baking, but I would eat any of this pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know what a snowball cookie is, but I mean, sure, I'll have it. I pretty much like any holiday baking. Actually, Trevor, I know your wife's really into holiday baking too. So,
yep, yeah. I mean, this all looks good.
Yeah.
Can we? This turkey poutine looks like leftovers.
Yeah, that's I think the idea of it. I was just going to say how much I want to eat it. I knew you were going to have a problem with it.
This looks like something I would eat on a Tuesday when I don't know what else to do with turkey. That's
exactly what it is. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. All right, well, okay. How about the Canada Pavilion, which is Yukon Holiday Kitchen, which is seared scallops with parsnip silk, apple chutney, and hazelnut. I don't know how to say that word. Croquant. Okay, what is a croquant? I have no idea what that is.
It's like a cake or like a.
I'm Googling.
I guess
all right,
it's like a patty of.
Yeah, it's a toffee or a brittle is how it's being. It's a cream and butter combination of caramelized sugar and almonds. Okay, that sounds all right. I would eat that.
Yeah.
I'm all about the Snickerdoodle cookie right here, though, with the Snickers on top as part of the cookie stroll.
Snickers Snickerdoodle.
Yeah, Snickers Snickerdoodle.
All right. Yeah.
I like a good Snicker. Yeah, that's an easy one, man. Give me that one all day. We have the L'Chaim Holiday Kitchen. I didn't do the full L'Chaim, but it's pastrami on rye with house-made pickles and deli mustard. My wife would be very into that, as well as the smoked salmon and potato latke, and then the mini jelly-filled donuts as well. All of this is black and white cookie. None of this is new, by the way. They've had this for the same menu basically for a couple of years on this one. So,
yep.
All right, what else we got here? Tangerine Cafe. So grilled kebabs with carrot chickpea salad and garlic aioli. Not my thing. I don't know. This kind of seems like something you would eat, Trevor.
Sorry.
I can't make you laugh because then you just start coughing. That's what happens.
I'm trying to not laugh too much, but yeah, I find it funny how you assume because it's something that you wouldn't eat that I must eat it. I mean, I would try it at least once. It wouldn't. It's not necessarily that it would be like my favorite, but I mean, kebabs are good. Don't get me wrong. I like kebabs.
I'm liking this American holiday table with just a straight up like Thanksgiving dinner on a plate.
It's really good.
Yeah.
The only problem is, again, they do this. It's a day after Thanksgiving. You would think that they would actually have that available for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. I mean, they do in a bunch of the restaurants, but
it's really good.
Yeah. So sliver roasted turkey with Ben's original stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, and cranberries. I mean, it's just a traditional. It's what I'm going to have on Thanksgiving this week. So. It looks like nothing really new there.
Yep.
Are you seeing anything else that's sticking out to you that you want? I mean, we don't have to go through all these one by one. We can wrap this up.
What's a Linzer cookie? Just looking at the Bavaria.
Yeah. It's the cookie that's in the picture right there.
Yeah, but I'm trying to figure out like what would
I think it has like jam in it or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has like some jam in the middle, and I think it's like I don't know what kind of. It's like a shortbread cookie, I think. Yeah, I think.
Okay.
I could be wrong. Cheese fondue in a bread bowl sounds good to me, though, too, over here in Germany. I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty delicious. I mean, let's see what else we got here. I'm just scrolling down.
Freshman Outpost is kind of boring. Donut box. Ooh, donut box would be.
They make a good croissant donut. Oh, man, the croissant donut's good. I had that when I was there in November last year. That was really good. And then listen, donuts are always good. I feel like you can screw up a donut, but I mean, I slum it often.
It's hard.
With the Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, it really is hard. Like if I'll just eat a random Dunkin' Donuts donut, then I'll eat. I mean, although Trevor, what was it last week or that we talked about that one where they just threw a bunch of stuff on top of it? It was like a garbage donut.
Yeah.
Maybe that was Damon. Wait, no, was it you a couple weeks ago?
We had talked about the donut on top of the milkshake.
Yeah, but there was one that was at at Disney Springs somewhere that there was just a bunch of stuff on top. I think it was the show right before you.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that was me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So let's see what else we got here. France has a couple new things. There's a roasted ham with mushrooms, pearl onions, bacon, mustard sauce, and puffed potatoes. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good, minus the mushrooms. And then they also have a macaroon lollipop with peppermint. I don't know how to say that word. Chocolate ganache, and that's also pictured here. That looks decadent.
Is that green and
that's the green thing? Yeah,
thing. Yeah,
yeah. I mean, I would check that out. That looks pretty good to me.
Yep.
All right. What is this thing? Oh, we got some tortellini over in Italy. I always like tortellini, so 5 cheese tortellini. What is this little salmon thing? It's cured salmon, tartare, Sicilian blood orange, pistachios, and basil.
And like a popsicle.
It's like a push-up pop.
Yeah. Actually, that's really smart. If you think
actually really smart,
because it's easy to walk around with, and you can, it's easy to eat, and you don't make a mess with it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Really smart.
It's kind of weird. It's weird, but it's smart. It's definitely weird, though. Oh, here's we're getting into your area right here too. We're getting into China and Japan. I know you love a lot of that cuisine, right? So, chicken skewer with creamy peanut sauce.
Yeah, always good.
That looks good. That looks basic but good. What about this beef and noodle soup bowl? Is that a thing you'd be into? Nah?
No, I'm not really into soup bowls. I don't. Soup's a little too much. Like it's
Well, the sushi tree.
Don't want to eat a bunch of broth. Yeah.
The sushi tree looks pretty cool in Japan.
Yeah, it does. It's just crab and cream cheese with tempura, ikra salmon roll, and spicy mayonnaise. Okay, that one's not bad.
Yeah. There's nothing
a little basic for sushi, but
yeah. Some of it's some of those look a little bit basic. I'm skipping down to
mochi cake though.
Yeah.
So
no, not for me.
Rice cake. No, mochi cake is really good. Like mochi is good. I can vouch for that.
Okay.
It's got fruit and stuff in it. Like, trust me, it would be really good.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, then we got Mexico. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a giant tostada, which with braised barbacoa beef on a giant tostada with chipotle black bean puree, salsa verde, queso code.
Isn't
What?
this the same thing they were serving at Food and Wine?
Well, it says new, so I don't know. Maybe it's
Hmm.
different. Maybe it's slightly different. I don't know.
Okay.
I'd probably go for the dulce de leche churros. Like that's something I would do. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we hit all the food stuff. So
Oh, you don't want to talk about this funnel cake that's like you lose the funnel cake in it?
where's the funnel cake? Where?
The mini funnel cake topped with peppermint ice cream, chocolate whipped cream, and crushed peppermint. I don't even see where the funnel cake is because
It's in there
like,
somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would eat that. Peppermint ice cream sounds pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean,
Where's the funnel
Yeah.
cake? Yeah, you're basically just
Yeah.
eating an ice cream sundae with funnel cake. That's really
exactly.
what it is. Yeah, that's really what it is. But I mean, all this looks good. I wish I were there to eat it, but I'm not. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then last but not least, which we end as we do often, which is with Disneyland news. And this week we have Mickey's Toontown is going to be reopening at Disneyland Park on March 8th. It's been undergoing a complete and total reimagining, and it's coming back here. It feels like they did this work very quickly, right? I mean, when did that shut down? Earlier this year? I mean,
there wasn't a ton of work they needed to do. Like
Yeah.
it was, just fixing up some of the existing areas and stuff that were honestly kind of abandoned at this point.
sure.
And Mickey's Runaway Railway will be coming to Disneyland with that too.
Yeah, is it opening the same time? Oh no, because that's
well,
opening January 27th. That's right. That's done already, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's opening first, and then the rest of it will open after.
Yeah.
It looks like a cool space. I mean, it looks like a lot of place. It looks like a place for like kids to like really play around, and like it's very different. Like you don't have a lot of those areas really anymore in the parks where kids can just kind of like run around and mess around with stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's not like a ride, it's just an open space or like an interactive space. It feels like they're adding more of that stuff back in, with like the Moana thing they're doing. But like this feels just like it's a big playground,
Yeah, it looks like there's a splash pad near Donald's house now and stuff like that. Like, yeah, things that have been missing if you really think about it. Like Toontown's been a shell for a long time. Like even when I took my son there when he was younger, it was not anywhere near what it used to be. So yeah.
So this is good. So I'm sure a lot of Disneyland people are probably excited about this. I'm sure some were sad that they got rid of it. But I mean, it looks like what
get rid of it.
That they got rid of the original. That they're just retheming it. Some people don't like any change at all. So
yeah.
So all right. Well, I think that's all we got, right? I mean, is there anything else you want to say about this, or should we wrap this thing up?
Let's wrap it up.
Well, first of all, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. First of all, enjoy this time with your families. Hopefully everybody has a great time with their families, enjoying this. Trevor, I know you already had Thanksgiving, so this is not, this is more for the American audience.
I'll be enjoying doing some Christmas shopping because, Black Friday sales and all that. So, because we still get Black Friday, even though we don't do Thanksgiving up here.
Black Friday starts though, in the first week of November now,
Yeah, they're already pushing the sales, but I hope you guys enjoy your time with your families. So
yeah, absolutely. So Trevor, do you want to wrap it up, or do you want me to do it since you can't talk too well?
Would you mind wrapping it up this time? Because I don't know if I can get through this in one go.
No worries. So you can always email us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. Oh, just a reminder to everybody too, this is going to be our last episode that we're doing around the holidays here. So we're going to do this episode that's coming out, at our regular time. And then we have a waitlist episode coming the Monday after Thanksgiving. And then we are going to do our 200th episode live. We're going to do a live stream for that. We got to finalize the details for what time and date we're going to do that, but we are going to do a live stream for the 200th episode. So should be a lot of fun. So we'll get more details out about that soon here. So anyway, and if you don't follow us on Facebook, that's going to be the best place to find the details about the live stream. So please do. But mention, just to mention the email address, the welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. You can email us questions or just, general. We always have people email us like tips or things that we missed or, questions. Please feel free to email us. We like emails. questions are always a good thing. We do have various social media accounts, Facebook, Welcome Home Podcast. Please follow us there, especially as we approach 10,000 followers, which is pretty great. We're excited about that. And then our YouTube channel, Welcome Home Podcast, which we do not update all that often, but it is out there. And then Instagram, Welcome Home Pics. Our store right now, which is still our haunted Universe of Energy shirts that we are selling on our store, which helps support the show and also helps support us doing more special shirts. So that's store.welcomehomepodcast.com. And you can also support us on Patreon. So that's a neat way that you can support us as well, where you can get some exclusive merch as part of your subscription. And you also get access to our Discord server where you can have some fun conversations with us and also with, some of the other listeners as well. So that's patreon.com/welcomehomepod. The other thing is, please, review the podcast. If you listen to us on iTunes or on Spotify, either write us out a review or give us a star review. We obviously prefer 5 stars. So if you give us a review, we would really appreciate it. Definitely really helps the podcast out. So, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any other podcast app out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for, Disney DVC. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please call a Disney cast member or DVC representative for more information about anything we talked about today. Big thank you to our sponsors of this episode, DVC Resale Market, and also, of course, World of DVC, who have been our supporters since the very beginning. So big thank you to them. Join us next time for more Disney Park discussion. Of course, more DVC. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit a chair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair. I looked around from pole to pole, found her in a sugar bowl.